Welcome to the Dollars and Cents podcast with Wes the Economist and Jonathan the Conspiracy Theorist. We're reporting to you live from the Wave Beach Realty Studios in North Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Give us a call today at 843-957-3872.
All right, guys, welcome back into the Dollars and Cents podcast with Wes the Economist. I am Jonathan the Conspiracy Theorist, Season 4, Episode 6. And Wes gets to talk about one of his favorite subjects that he is
Wait a minute.
so happy
Favorite
about.
subject?
Taxes.
No, don't give me a break.
Tax.
So for somebody who is against government intervention in the market, how much more can you intervene and go in and take people's money?
Yeah, taxes are a wild thing, but that we need taxes to pay for all these great things the government does for us, Wes.
Gracious. You heard Kathy Hochul in New York. Well, I know we're going to focus on New York a lot because there's a lot coming out of New York on just stupidity and taxes. But Kathy Hochul, if you remember, is that how you say her name? I don't know how you say it. I don't live in New York. I don't care. And I won't live in New York.
Yeah.
Okay, God, don't make me live in New York. But she literally told people that if they didn't like the way they were voting and they didn't like the policies, then leave New York. You remember this about a year ago, 2 years ago?
Oh, yeah.
And then last month she comes back and says, I really need these high net worth individuals to move back. We need them as a tax base so we can make sure we have all these great social programs. Is it literally politicians is it something they drink? Are they just uneducated? Do I need to go give an economics class to every governor in the United States and every mayor? It's stupidity to me.
Yeah, I think the problem is to become a politician, you lie your way to get there anyway. So it's like once you get there, it's like, all right, well, if that's what got me here, if I just keep lying, I should be good. So they'll forget what they say one day. It's like, oh, we don't need you to leave, and then they're like, all right, we got to walk this back because actually some people listen to that, and we're losing some tax money. We can't do free grocery stores now, so we're going to need you to get on there and get some of these billionaires back.
And that's just it. I mean, this whole social. And we've talked about it many times on the podcast. Obviously, I'm a free market guy, which is capitalism. And no, capitalism doesn't mean big companies. Literally, capitalism means the opposite of that. It means you have no companies big enough to control the market. We don't have capitalism in the United States. We haven't had for 40 years because of our government. The government has made sure that we've gotten these companies, quote unquote, too big to fail. Yeah. So now you've got all this stuff happening in these cities where they've taxed and taxed and taxed, and people are leaving that or the tax base. I mean, start with California. I mean, I've seen some numbers showing me that some people, they pay 50 to 60% of their income in taxes.
Yeah.
And then when they try to leave, they're trying to chase them for the taxes. I mean, right now they're trying it again. They're trying to make it where they can tax people who leave. And then just like New York City, the ones that do leave, you spend years proving that you left. Well, we don't think you left. You still owe us this money. And so many famous economists have said, I think Milton Friedman was one of them, that they actually literally believe that taxes are theft, where you literally get to take somebody else's money. Thomas Sowell said something, and I'll paraphrase this. Thomas Sowell says, why is it that making money is greed, but taking somebody else's money is not? And that's literally what government officials do. They literally take somebody else's greed. I just showed on our last quick clip, we talked about taking risk, unassured risk, and how that should bring in the economic profits or a bigger return on your investment than just normal investing. And literally, when you take risk out of the equation, you have government. Government risks nothing to pass laws, to take taxes, to do all this stuff. They don't have any skin in the game. They come in, you as a property owner, and we'll get to property taxes in a minute because obviously Mandami in New York has just gone off the rails. But as property tax, you don't have any skin in the game. You have no risk involved, but you take all this money away from the people who are risking their livelihood and their fortunes and everything else and everything they've got.
Right.
And now get back to, do we need government? Yes, we need government. Do we need some of these programs that are going? Yes. But let's face it, they're very inefficient. I mean, in South Carolina, we couldn't even stop the gas tax for a month because DOT says they can't afford to give up that money. But I swear, I've been all over South Carolina lately. I don't see any roads getting repaired. I see some work being happening on new roads, but there's very little repairs going on, and some of these bridges are getting ready to fall in. I mean, it is terrible driving across.
Yeah, South Carolina, as much as I love it here, our roads are pretty rough.
So go back to these taxes. I mean, at what point have you taxed too much?
Well, I think
Government needs to. I mean, that's one reason they ran Doge out of Washington because they were finding all this fraud and all this padding. But every state needs to go through that same process. Every city, every county needs to go through that same process. The answer for politicians is, well, we're short this year. We just need to raise taxes. You
right.
cannot keep raising taxes. There's actually another economic um, theory called the Laffer curve, and Dr. Laffer actually shows up on Fox News a lot. Even now, I think he's in his 80s, late 80s, still bright as a whip. A lot smarter than any politician I know.
Yeah.
He came up with this theory, and some people laugh at it, but if you think about it, it's pretty much common sense. And it is that as the government continues to raise the tax rate, you will have more tax revenue to a point. At that point, when you continue to raise it, there's a disincentive to work, so people start working as much.
Are you looking to buy a home in North or South Carolina? You need to reach out to Wave Beach Realty today. We are a family owned company with over 10 years of experience in North and South Carolina and operate along the Grand Strand. Give us a call today at 843 957 3872. That's 843 957 3872.
All right. Well, now it's officially time to introduce my book, Econ Sense, Economics for Everyday Living. You can actually find it by going to my website, econsense.us. If you go there, you'll see there are links to Amazon where you can pick it up, just a paperback, or if you'd rather have the ebook, you can go to Innovative Ink Publishing and care of Kendall Hunt Publishing Company, where you can get the print or ebook. And while you're on that website, you can also check out my other podcast, Econ Sense, which I have several different series that go by. You can find it on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and YouTube. Email me at west.the.economist@gmail.com, and I look forward to hearing from you.
And therefore, your tax revenue as a government actually goes down.
Mm.
And we've proved this. Ronald Reagan proved this back in the 80s. He dropped the overall tax rates. The first year, revenues went down a little bit. And then after that, they went up a lot. And people out there yelling, say, oh, wait a minute, no, but he started all the debt. No, he didn't. You look at the tax revenue coming into the government, it went up for the last 5-6 years of Reagan's administration. The problem was the Democratic controlled Congress started spending way much more money than they've ever spent before. So there's two ways to get rid of that debt. Raise taxes, you can do that for a little time, or you can stop spending. He decided to cut taxes, increase revenue. Is that what we really want? Don't we want more revenue? Or are you just trying to punish the people who are successful?
Right.
You've got to ask your question. That's a question you got to ask.
Yeah.
So, but fast forward back to today, and again, that happened with Trump when he dropped the corporate tax in 2017. Tax revenue to the government actually went up. You don't believe me? Go look at the numbers. Don't go find an article that's spinning it. Go look at the actual numbers. It's not hard. If you can do fifth grade math, like you said in the last one, you can see. So we are definitely at that point Laffer was talking about when we have a disincentive to work, because we're not talking about just income tax.
Right.
Income tax, payroll tax, property tax, sales tax, usury tax. Should I keep going? I mean, we're taxed everywhere. Inheritance tax, death tax, real estate taxes. I mean, when I sold my house with you, you said that this one line item was just because I got to pay Horry County to stamp a piece of paper. And it was like, what, $375?
They call them deed stamps, but it's a cute way to say transfer tax to the county. $3.70 per $1,000 of the sales price to the county. They call them deed stamps, but they're not even stamping it. I mean, it's
for what?
nothing.
What are they doing?
Just because you sold it. It's a sales tax.
And that is, I guess, to change the record on a computer that should take seconds, that they can't get done for, a year because I had sold some land, and a year later I'm getting, you haven't paid your taxes. I hadn't owned it for a year. Well, we don't have that recorded. Or I paid you money to do it. Why didn't you record it?
Yeah.
Oh, well, we're just behind. Okay. You can say I get very passionate about this. You got people, again, who have no skin in the game. They're the ones who control all this. And so let's, again, fast forward today. I know we run out of time on this quickly. It's not going to be quick. It's going to be a podcast. You go back to Mandami, and he's introduced this bill, or they're going to start taxing people who do not live in the city who have asset or a property worth over $5 million. And what I'm glancing at, it varies, but it can be up to like 9% of the value of the property.
Mm-hmm.
So, and he actually, I don't know if you saw the video. He goes, I got so mad when I saw it. He sits there, smug as out in the what. The guy has no understanding about economics. I will say that right up front, because obviously he's a socialist. Nobody who's a socialist understands economics.
Right.
I got a thing I don't show it in class, go get in trouble, but it's a bunch of people yelling, it's Bernie's supporters and said, "What do you want?" And they go, "Free stuff. What don't you understand?" And they say, "Economics. It's nothing free." But he's wanting to tax these people. And he goes up and he's in the camera. He says, "Remember when I was running, I was going to tax the rich." He comes up to the camera and taps literally on the
Saw
lens.
that.
Well, guess what? We're taxing the rich. And then he calls a guy's name out from an investment company or something, calls his property out where it's at, and says he's going after him. What? Hey, that is un-American.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
And
What all you're going to do is all these people that have these properties in the city, especially if they're income producing, you're going to say, all right, now your taxes are 9% higher because it's like you're basically charging a luxury tax because your property's worth this, so you should have to pay more because you can afford a $5 million property. Well, if that puts you in a place where you're not producing income or you have to leave the city to all, you're just gonna take that. And this is what I was trying to tell this girl the other night that I was talking to. They're just going to take their money and invest it in any other city. If I can, to her point, she said, if you can afford a $5 million property, you should be taxed more. Not how that works at all, by the way. But let's say that's the case. Let's say devil's advocate, fine. If anybody that can buy a $5 million property, income producing, they can pay more taxes. Okay. Well, why are they going to just buy in New York City then if they can go to Chicago and buy the same property for 3 million and pay 9% less taxes? There,
yeah,
if you can invest 5 million in New York, you can invest 5 million anywhere
yeah.
if you're using that logic. So
And that's what happened with Kathy Hochul. They
yeah,
started taxing people and they left.
yeah. It's simple. It's very simple.
It is. It's
It's
very
not a
simple.
difficult concept. If I was buying rental properties in Myrtle Beach and all of a sudden Myrtle Beach said, "All right, anybody who owns duplexes, because duplexes are my favorite, multifamily. If you own a duplex, quad apartment complex, now you got to pay 10% more in taxes." I'd be like, okay, well, let me go into North Carolina and start buying duplexes because I can get them for the same price and not pay the 10% tax. Everybody's going to sell their duplexes. And now nobody's going to have anywhere to rent because these places are going to either get foreclosed on or nobody's going to want to buy them and they're going to get run down. And then you have all these people that are going to be displaced because they have nowhere to rent. And
Yeah.
then the economy crashes.
And
So
then
it's
they're gonna complain about there's no affordable housing here.
right. And then the government will step in and build affordable housing. And we all know how that works.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So socialism sounds good on paper until you run out of everybody else's money. That's the problem
Exactly.
with it.
Margaret
You know?
Thatcher was very right.
Yeah,
Econsense.us is my website. I can teach you a lot more about economics. My book,
absolutely.
Econsense, is on Amazon. And all kidding aside, I wrote the book exactly for these situations. My book is written for people who either went to college or didn't go to college. If you went to high school, you can read the book. And it's put in terms that you can start to understand the basics of economics. If you can just start to understand the principles of economics, the literal foundation of what economics is about, it's not about money, then you can start to see these things from a perspective and understand why the things happen the way they do.
Perfect. Yeah, definitely should get his book. This is the guy. If you Economics 101, get his book. And if you want to talk about the economics of real estate and how it impacts you in the real estate market, talk to me. We both got you covered.
There you go. All right, we'll catch you on our podcast next weekend.
See you on the next one, guys.
When life gets unpredictable, turn to a partner you can trust. At Bobby Clary State Farm, we've got you covered. Whether it's home, auto, or life insurance, we're dedicated to providing personalized coverage that fits your needs. With our friendly and knowledgeable team, navigating your insurance options have never been easier. Visit bobbyclary.com or call 843-438-6000. Bobby Clary State Farm, here to help life go right.
Eisenhower Dental, located at 107 Waccamaw Medical Park Drive in Conway, a place where you can find all your dental services, including general dentistry, cosmetic, restorative, and pediatric dentistry. Reach out to them today at their website, eisenhowerdental.com, or call them at 843-234-3110, 843-234-3110, and tell them Wes the Economist sent you. Mortgage payment, insurance payments, credit card payments, they can be very overwhelming. Are you ready to take the time to get things under control? Then reach out to me at Clark Financial Coaching to see if we can get you started with a budget and then a vision for the future. Write me at coachwesc@gmail.com. That's coachwesc@gmail.com.
Thanks for listening to the Dollars and Cents Podcast with Jonathan the Conspiracy Theorist and Wes the Economist. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram and X at DollarsCentsGS and on Facebook at Dollars and Cents.